Let's talk a little bit about primary school.
You could remember primary school?
Barely.
Your memory is terrible. You can't remember what you eat for breakfast
I
this
remember
morning.
the name of my first teacher.
Me too.
Mr. Dave Suknanan was
the one you saw the other day?
He was my first year's teacher.
Well, my
He had
first
a
year teacher
moustache.
was Miss Monica.
And-
Don't ask me her last name because she is Miss Monica.
Miss Monica. I remember. Do you remember the first time you get licks in primary school?
Yeah, I was in standard 2.
It take you till standard 2 to get licks?
Yes.
What you
Yeah.
get licks for?
Everybody else talking. Yeah. I only get
So the whole class get
the
licks?
whole class get licks. So you couldn't really
Hey,
get
you
rid
know,
of that.
as reading a book on, and I kind of understand why they ban, what is called corporal punishment?
Corporal punishment.
I understand why they ban it,
Why?
Because, I mean, how to put this? I understand, or I feel that, as a parent, even as a teacher, that sometimes children need correction. And the correction, like, it just might have to take a form of a quick little spank. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Wait, are you pro corporal punishment or against? Because I can't
no,
tell
I
in your
am
Trinidad.
I am against it. I'm against it. But you see those people who came out of the 40s and the 50s under that colonial
They
order.
abused it.
They abused it.
Yeah.
So in this book, the Pearl of Piparo, totally enjoyed it. And she's talking about a teacher. In the background, you hear a dog barking, forgive us, but the dog's doing their job and we're doing our job. In this book, she talk about a teacher that used to whip children behind their necks.
Oh.
Kimberly. That's crazy. And Daddy gives some horror stories about getting licks. You see that era, like in the 40s or 50s, who think they had something to prove to the colonial powers, that be or the massa or whatever the word is for it.
Monkey see, monkey do. They
Yeah.
used to see that, so they did it.
So tell me a little bit about the licks that you get in standard 2.
It was just a little ruler, a ruler in your hand. It wasn't that bad.
But you remember what you get it for? the whole class
whole
talking.
class talking, yeah.
So you just pay the price for somebody
because
else.
you don't want to sell out your friends because snitches end up in ditches. But so you take some licks for them. But I remember crying, not because I got licks, but when I had this really silly thing about myself that when I got angry or anybody tell me anything and I get angry with them, I'll start crying. So it wasn't a matter of the licks hurting. I was just kind of angry. Damn, why were they talking? Why nobody say the name? Why I didn't say the name?
Were you able to
cried.
exact revenge afterwards?
No. I did beat them in race though. So that was my revenge.
And Reese, I remember when he lifted a rag that had fallen to the ground and he said, whose rag is this? And I don't know why I put up my hand and say, my rag.
You wanted a free rag?
No, and then when he started to approach me with it, I was like, no, sorry, I was joking. That is not my rag.
So he beat you with it?
So he took out, he had this ruler, and please, folks, this is way in the past. But yeah, it was, this was like a gentle nudge with this long wooden ruler. Remember back then it was blackboards, right? So they probably still use rulers like that to draw the lines across the board. And that was the first time that I get
Wait, that was the meter rule. You
That's
get
what I
like
call it?
You get like 20 meter rule.
Yeah. That's a little kind of pout your palm.
slightly fatter than a regular stick.
And you could remember any of the, like a first year, who's like your first real friend in primary school?
In primary school, my first friend was a girl named Melissa. And then she moved away in standard 2. But I remember she was one of my first friends. And then it was a group of us. So I never really stuck. I didn't have like a best friend. I was always a group person. So I'll call the group now. It was like Renetta, Hema, Liana, Giselle. And most of these children were from Grand Couva. So it's like people in Balmain. The children in Grand Couva used to come all the way to Balmain because of this one teacher, Miss Katie. I probably spoke about her already. So people used to come from all over Central for Miss Katie to teach them because she was the best. Everybody knew her as the best. She was renowned in the whole country. I remember people from San Fernando used to come for her lessons sometimes if they couldn't make to like come to school there.
It's amazing when you develop a reputation like that
Yeah.
as a teacher and people
She was
you're
excellent.
regarded.
She is excellent. She still gives lessons, I think.
It'll be nice to meet her sometime. I would like
You
to
never
meet her.
meet Miss Katie?
I'll probably meet her in person or met her and do remember.
Yeah, we should go. We will carry Haley and Anna to see
yeah.
her strap.
There was this teacher that Lasana was. I don't know if he was terrified of him, but a guy used to teach in the Anglican school there in Curepe. I think Mr. Nelson was his name. He wrote a couple textbooks, and I remember going to that lessons in primary school. And yeah, I just maybe talked to the person next to me on the desk next to me. It's like, you go outside. I was like, so I just went outside, and I'd probably never get to go back there for the rest of the day.
So you get out of class?
Free? Yeah, I get.
What you do whole day?
But I don't know, it was like a summertime lessons, and oh wow, boy, you're talking about Miss Katie there, and I remember Miss Richardson, going to lessons by Miss Richardson with fellas like Brent Pierre, and I think like in like in primary school, like you just have a crush.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you just have a like I feel like
yeah, I had a crush on the teacher. So funny. That explains my life.
You had a crush on the teacher.
Yeah.
What class you in?
Maybe like standard 4.
Like fast forward years later, secondary school, adult. You ever see that teacher?
Yeah.
And
I was one of those people. Not really. There was like a colleague eventually, because he was very young coming into the school, so it wasn't even like this elder person. It was just somebody older, like just a couple of years older maybe. So, but I was one of those people who always liked to return to primary school to visit your teachers whenever you have some free time, where you're going to pick up your cousin or something. And they're always so happy and jovial to see us, like, hey, Kimberly, how you going now? And they're always happy to hear how you're doing in school, how school going, what's your plans, what you want to do when you go to UE, where you want to be. And you could see it light up in there. Like Miss Katie used to always like when we come and visit. I spoke to her. No, I didn't speak to her. I spoke to somebody. Yeah, I spoke to one of my brother's friends who told me she spoke to Miss Katie, and she was like, Miss Katie say you should come and check her. I said, yeah, boy, we really had to go and check her.
Go. And when I look at my own 2 children now, and the joy and the pride and the love that they have for their teachers.
Yeah, boy.
And it allows me to revisit that time in my life. And, boy, hats off to teachers who dedicated to their students and going the distance. I have kind of throughout the years, you think about teachers as, yeah, boy, them real lucky, boy, them just go to work from 8 o'clock to 2:30 and they finish. But all the responsibility, the administrative issues that they're dealing with, the kindness that they extend. I mean, I have a lot of respect for teachers. I've always had respect for teachers, except when I was a student.
Timing is everything.
Yeah, timing is everything, boy. Timing is everything. I ever tell about the time I come 31st and test?
You were starting, and then you changed the topic.
Right. So I, terrible student. Recently I found my secondary school report book, and I don't think I get anything higher than a C, But anyway, let's go back a little bit to primary school. I believe this may have happened in standard 2. So I'm walking home with my report book, and I'm looking at the 31, and I was like, wow, I came last in test. And I am walking home trying to figure out how am I going to explain to my parents that I came last in test. Right? I mean, I was always accustomed coming to like second to last. I'm trying to figure out how am I going to explain it. So that Dinsley Road walk home, walking
the walk
home.
Of shame.
I reached to the garage, and Liba and Mommy probably by the window there. That's my elder sister. No, my younger sister. I have 2 sisters, a brother, me. So one, her name is Liba, and she's in the kitchen, and I passed the report book to her, and it's like, Liba, come last in test, And she looks at it, and maybe these are not her exact words, but it feels like it was her exact words, or maybe it's just how I was feeling in the moment. She's like, Lyndon, you stupid, or what? You come first in test. I was like, why come first in test? She's like, yeah, the 31st is the date. I was looking at the date.
You sure you come first in test?
Yes, it was like, yeah. It was like some flukes, boy.
It had to be.
And then there was a time in standard 2 or standard 3, I had this teacher. I wouldn't call her name because I don't remember her name. But she used to. I shouldn't even say this, but I feel like I used to get to go home half day every day. I might be wrong, you know.
She used to let you go home?
Yeah.
How old were you? 10?
They're talking like about standard 2, standard 3.
So that's what, 7?
I just used to be like, Miss, I could go home.
She'd let you go home?
And lunchtime I leave in school and walking home. I am not lying and I'm making this up or anything.
For how long this went on?
I feel like it happened for the entire time that I was in her class.
That is nonsense.
Dead serious, Kimberly.
And what would you do? Go home?
Yeah, I just
and
going home.
Your mother them didn't like send you back to school?
No, I remember they were in work and Erwin probably there.
And Erwin didn't care?
No, it's not, but I mean...
Sure, like it's 3 o'clock already.
Yeah. I dead serious. She just used to let me go home.
Was that when you actually came last in test?
It probably was when I came first in test. I don't know if she had a soft spot for me or what. Or just like, yeah, he's
maybe
a dummy.
Maybe she thought you were challenged. She was like, this boy better go home.
Is the most, when I think back to that and I try to say, hey, was that real? You know, just like when children, they number 2 themselves in school and you have like any memories that are like this children just darting across the compound naked. You know, like they always had this. I don't know what your school was like, but they had they have this trough with the taps on it.
Yeah,
to wash your
we have
hands.
those. But
right.
They
was
were
it against the school building itself?
No. Well, yeah, it was against the school building, but they had some inside the washrooms as well. So they had some outside and they had some inside.
Okay, so if my memory serves me well, the trough pipes that we had were to the back of the school compound.
Okay.
Not far from the boys and girls washroom. So if a child happened to mess their pants, I have vivid memories of naked children darting from the washroom to the pipes. And here's the funny thing, the janitor running them down.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I will touch on one more thing there, right? After I talk about this janitor, but janitor that a cleaner janitor that stands out to me is Miss Pat.
We had Miss Glory.
Miss Glory?
Yeah.
And these are fantastic people. When Haley was doing our work on what is our community, and our community is people, you know, and the school and the different roles in the school. Such a vital person, boy.
Yeah.
You go to pick up your child and you see that person mopping between the benches, wiping it down. Because you think about hygiene and COVID.
Extremely important, yeah.
A real sacrifice because the principal, when you mess your pants, is not the principal coming to clean you off.
Exactly.
I find schools, I don't know how they go in and pull it off, but you should have like maybe they do have like appreciation days or at a PTA meeting they may have, but you should have some kind of special day in every term to recognize people like the security guards and the janitors. Or you know what, we don't even need a day like that.
You just do it every day.
You just think about what's something nice I could do for this person, and I'm going to make it my business to. I mean, I'm thinking about a couple right now in my head that, you know, what I could do nice for that person because of the contribution that they're making on my child's education indirectly.
Oh yeah, and directly.
Yeah.
She said her water spilled sometime and Auntie Kamala came and cleaned it for her, and she was like, yeah, she did it, and or something she did in the washroom, and she helped her to do something with her dress or something. I think her button came loose, something, and Auntie Kamala helped her. I said, that's very nice. Did you say thank you? She said, yes, I did. And they're very important. And same thing, I think we were I was having this conversation already. I think in high school maybe you're talking about these high paid jobs, people getting real money. Lawyers, doctors, and then you have people picking up garbage and keeping the place clean. Shouldn't they be getting so much money because their job is just as important? What if you didn't have sanitation officers, you didn't have garbage trucks to take away all your garbage? These people are vital for society, and yes, they might be paid a fraction of the amount, but we were debating in high school that they should be given a lot more. Maybe these wages should be a lot higher and we should respect them more, because there's just a genuine stigma attached to somebody who's picking up garbage. And it's just the nature of the job. If you're cleaning your toilet, your hands will be dirty, your gloves will be dirty, and then you go and you clean it off. But somebody has to do it, otherwise you're gonna be in filth. So it's just something inherent. You need to start from young, and I think they are doing a good job in the school, and we try at home too to instill the importance of everybody and everybody's role, and nobody is greater than the other.
Yeah. And it could take very simple forms. I mean,
Please and thank you, good
please and
morning,
thank you.
hello. Don't make them feel invisible.
Yeah, you'll leave in your school. I mean, I impress. I hope this don't come across as preaching or patting myself on my shoulder. But when we leave in school, one of the things that I encourage is that, you know, whoever is standing there, whether it's a teacher, security guard,
Yeah, you say
whether it's a
goodbye.
janitor,
You say
goodbye to this person.
acknowledge them.
I don't remember the next lady's name, but Miss Pat, we used to call her. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about, because my memory working here now about primary school and the past, is you know that one or two, you always have that one lady that coming by the school fence, and they have the little table with the chili BB and the red mango. Who was that person for you?
We had them inside in the halls. Thank you very much. We had two sellers. We had Auntie Joyce, and I'm trying to remember the other one. I said it the other day because we were talking about this already. I can't remember her name, but Auntie Joyce was the one I used to buy from because she had pylori with the specific tamarind sauce that just was the perfect consistency. So it running down your hands. And the pylori, just soak it up in it and you get it in your little square brown paper.
How much you was paying for pylori back then?
25 cents for 3. 50 cents. You get any nice. You might get it in a bag if you buy a 50 cents bag sometimes, depending on the size. Yeah, and she had chili baby. What I used to buy from her was literally just tahina, pylori, and maybe a chili baby here and there. That was it. Nothing else. No sugar cake, no chana, no popcorn. That was it. That was my repertoire. What was yours?
So we had a lady named Miss Chan. And similar type products, and she didn't live close to the school. She lived somewhere in Trinidad, and you'd see Miss Chan walking home with her trolley. And if I'm not mistaken, Miss Chan was outside the school gate, and you know you'd be reaching over the fence, placing your orders for your chili BB. We had a school cafeteria as well. I remember they used to like cut these brown bags in half, and they're selling fries from it with ketchup soaked at the bottom. But yeah, Miss Chan, boy, real vital people in the system that you.
They made school days. We used to, I should tell you about we used to have split races during recess and lunch. It was so terrible.
When you say split races, like you do a split and
like
go
you do a split and the first person to stop doing the split, well, if it was, depending on how many people were doing it, usually it was just about 3 people. So the person to last the longest in the split win. And sometimes we'd be there whole lunchtime. We had nothing
just
to
in
do.
A split?
Just in a split. I mean, you're young, your limbs were
right.
still adjusted.
So you're just spending your whole lunchtime in a split.
Yeah.
Seeing who do the longest. Yes, you used to play some kind of silly games in school, though.
No, we used to use the time. Oh, so there was this one girl. She used to go to gymnastics class. Of course, we're from a area where we probably don't have gymnastics anywhere nearby.
Yeah,
that
like
we
what kind of white sport is this like?
So she was a white girl.
You see how the deal on the other, like she from somewhere Palmis or something. I just happened to land up in Kufa because all the schools full.
I'm not gonna say where she's from, but she so she had gymnastics training to whatever she learned in school. She used to come back to school and teach us. So I learned how to do cartwheels.
Serious is off of her encouragement and inspiration.
Yeah, well, she would have like started it because we had an interest in doing it. So I would see her doing it. I was like, hey, I wonder if I could do that. And then you eventually learn to do a walkover. You're doing crab back. You're standing up. You're doing handstands. We had a savannah. Hey, that is something I have a bone to pick with the government. You know, these primary schools are getting more concrete every day. Like my primary school now, Balmain Presbyterian, is now concrete. It's a concrete jungle. Where the children supposed to play? And when you fall down, you're gonna bust your head. That's hospital waiting to happen. You need at least a small little patch of grass, even if it's not a big savanna like we would have had privilege to use in our day, just a little square for the children to go and sit down in the grass, feel the grass between your hands or something. But I feel like all of the primary schools I'm seeing now, they lack in area. Haley's primary school, there's barely any grass. There's no
Kim,
grass.
they have a particular reason for that, maybe. Because here's what. In Tacarigua Presbyterian, when I went there, the entire compound was paved. But there was a section of it to the southwestern side of the compound. So it's to the back of the school. And there was a raised, like a terrace.
To the church.
Yes, close to the church. There was a terrace area. And there was a big lovely tree. I don't remember what type of tree it was.
It's usually pui.
And then and it was a dirt area, and the boys would gather there, and they'd be playing things like pitch on our lunchtime and whatever. So you had the concrete where children could run, and then you had the and fall down and grease the knee. But you had a dirt area that was a little. You felt safer playing there, and it had the shade of a tree. And you're right, they eventually paved the area.
Is it the maintenance was too much? I don't know. But I find that you're taken away because my fondest memories were sports day. You're running your 100, 200 meters in the grass. You're doing all the sports. You're learning handstand and falling on your back. If you do that on a concrete, yes, you wouldn't damage yourself too much, but it would be nice and cushioned in the grass. I feel like children missing out so much just from a lack of grassy areas to play in.
Yeah, and I guess you have different schools that they make an effort in some way where they realize that lack, and they probably get these half drums and doing little plantings. So the child could see some vegetables. It's true, boy.
You can't run in a drum, but it still is a start. I know your improvement. You probably want to expand the school at the expense of the greenery, but I feel like some greenery is still necessary.
Because back when we were children, we didn't have a lot of space to play. But I could think about a number of events that they had throughout the term where you would go to Eddie Hart Savannah, or you go to St. Mary's. I haven't heard about any instances like that. And boy, there is this. I mean, like, I feel like you really need that balance to. One of the reasons we carry our children to walk at times is because you feel like there's a different type of running you could do in a savannah.
Exactly, if you're
compared
safe.
to your house. You feel like, hey, your child could fall down, they might graze their arms, but their teeth might remain in their mouth. They wouldn't get a white man. They got a kind of white man if they fall down.
They might just get a little bruise.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get a scratch.
But you're right, as they expand in these places, needs for more staff room classes or whatever. But I mean, the secondary schools still kind of do a good job. In terms of the compounds, I could think about what was your secondary, not to stray too far, but what was your secondary school in terms of facilities like that, running, playing?
We had a real place to play. I would admit that we didn't have much greenery. We didn't have any. We had like a little part where the swings were in that little place there, so that was still grass. But the rest of it was, I mean, we're on a hill. You can't really avoid not paving the roads. So it was a lot of concrete, but we did have some places that were grassy. Like we had a swing, and we only had 4 spaces on the swing. So it's like as soon as the bell rang for recess, that was the race to see who could get the swing. So some people raced to the swing, some people raced to the doubles. I was in the doubles line. And but yeah, we had that.
Had a doubles man on it?
He used to come on recess. So you're in your class right before 10 o'clock and you're staring outside to see if you see the van. And if you're seeing the top rail of that van showing up, because remember, we down, so looking up to see if you could see it. And as soon as you see that, you get excited and you're like, teacher, you finish it. So I could go to the washroom. Yeah, but we also had a gym, and our gym was separate. Well, Naps is pretty big. So the gym was down the hill from the big classes. So we had the gymnasium area, and that was wooden. And then you also have these big pads. Because Naps, I will give credit, they have all the extracurricular you could want. We did high jump, we did long jump, we did badminton, netball, volleyball. They had everything. So they had these mats that you're really not supposed to play with. They're really for if you're doing high jump and stuff. But the mats were there. So you could go and you could jump and you could practice your things and your rules, your gymnastics. So if we didn't have the grass, but we had means around it. So we had ways to do things that we needed to do. We had a balance beam in naps. It was real cool. Naps is awesome.
Well, here's what. I enjoyed this conversation talking about primary school. And I look forward to talking in the next episode about secondary school with you. And
Big up naps.
big up Naps. Big
up Eldo.
Tacarigua Presbyterian School.
Balmain.
Big up Balmain. Big up all the teachers. Here's what. You big up all the teachers you could think about or staff members from your primary school days. And then I'll try to do the same. And we'll wrap up.
Let's
We'll
see
see
if I
folks in
could
the next
remember
episode.
everybody. Miss Monica, Miss Linda, Miss Shirlyn, Miss Jillian, Miss Katie. I don't want to forget Miss Katie, so I'm saying her now. Sir Dennison, Sir Aaron, Lautu, Lyndon Ram. Who else? We had, what was her name? She was the what do you call those? The trainee teacher in Standard 4. Oh gosh, I can't remember her name, but she was really nice. Who else we have? Miss Sita, Miss Pamela, Miss Gail. I can't remember anybody else. Okay, so that's it. You go. All of them. They were awesome. They were really nice, really, really good.
I want to big up Mr. Dave Suknana.
Again, the mustache man.
I want to big up Miss Dowlett. I want to big up Miss Pat. And I don't remember the name of your colleague, but I could see her face like if it's yesterday. Big up Miss Pat. That's all the teachers I could remember offhand. Big up Miss Sahadeo. I remember Miss Sahadeo.
Oh, Miss Patsy. I forget Miss Patsy. She was the principal. She was the vice principal. Miss Patsy. Oh, Miss Cherissa. Okay, they're all flooding back to me now.
Mr.
Miss
Rampasad.
Natasha. That's the girl's name. Miss Natasha. She was the trainee. She was really nice.
Oh, and I forget, I'll tell you about it in our next episode, but I'll tell you about the time that I get set up in primary school.
Set up what?
Yeah, this student was like trying to make me out for something that I didn't do, and mommy and
I
they get called into the
thought you
principal.
get set up like on a date. I was like, what in primary school?
No. I mean, I had little crushes here and there, but
What was the crime?
throwing toilet paper in the staff room toilet and filling it up and like clogging. And like real serious, like mommy and they had to go in. But here's what we'll talk about that in our next episode. Folks, thank you very much for listening, for tuning in. We appreciate your support. And if you want to keep in touch with the different episodes, remember to follow or subscribe.
Thanks for the trip down memory lane.
Thank you for doing these episodes with me. I really enjoyed it. I feel like I'm going to talk to you at least once a week.
Schedule it and we'll be here.